Hi, welcome to my bed. in a Fiji way.
Oh boy.
I go to art school, which means that I get to meet creative people all the time. And as they're talking to me about their ambitions and their passions and what they want to do, I am, in my mind, building a list of books that I think that they should read. But I learned the hard way that most of the time people at the bar actually don't want you to assign them reading. So I thought I would put a list out on here for people who maybe are sober, maybe at least sober enough to remember, to refer to if you want a book that might aid your creative side. I think it's important to note that creativity comes in so many different forms. So this isn't just for writers, whether you're painting or you do interior design, if you're a chef or you knit, or even if you just take your Instagram super seriously. Those are all beautiful creative outlets, and here are some recommendations for you. We got kind of we got a big stack. This book, Letters to a Young Poet, is the one that's I don't care if we're at the bar. I don't care where we are. If you tell me you do anything in the realm of the arts or using your brain, I'm going to shove this book down your throat. The author, there's kind of two, is Rilke, and he was a very successful German poet from the late 1800s to early 1900s. And one day, this military cadet wrote him a letter asking for writing and just kind of life advice in general, and he responded. So from that, we got 10 letters over the course of 6 years from Rilke. It really covers all the things that artists are consistently in conversation about, whether it's 1903 in Germany or 2025 in the United States. We're talking about the inspirations, the fears, the romance, and the humanity that comes with being an artist. He talks about it all. I underlined on every single page of this book. I'm gonna really sell it to you and leave it to you with my favorite. This actually might be one of my favorite paragraphs maybe ever. The art of creating is nothing without the vast ongoing participation and collaboration of the real world. Nothing without the thousandfold harmonizing of things and beings. And the creator's pleasure is thereby inexpressibly rich because it contains memories of the beginning and bearings of millions. In a single creative thought dwell 1,000 forgotten nights of love, which infuse it with immensity. And those who come together in the night, locked in thrusting desire, are gathering nectar, generating power and sweetness for some future poetic utterance that will sing the rapture. Come on, that's actually insane. The second book is Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, for so many reasons. Number one, I think that this book is the epitome of creativity. I actually just really sat down and read it for the first time recently. Sure, I read it when I was younger, and the proof is actually that this is a stolen copy from my 4th grade teacher. Sorry, Miss Stolzenberg. Terribly sorry about that. Don't know why I did that. This is exactly, for me at least, what it felt like to be a kid. To believe in magic, to be curiouser and curiouser about everything, to feel too big or too small, to see and feel things that adults don't. And I think that that's something for artists that even carry on into our own adulthood. And I think that connecting with your inner child is actually the most sacred important thing to do as an artist. Because I find, for me at least, I went through a phase where I resented everything I loved as a child. I was like, nope, not cool anymore. And when I came back around to it, when I refound that part of myself, that's when my work got even better. I think it's because when you're a kid, your love and your passion for things is unfiltered in a way that gets harder as you get older and you feel the judgment of other people and your heart gets broken. But what you felt for things you loved as a kid, that's always going to be the same. That's always going to be there. That translates in your work as well. When you're taking something that you've loved your whole life and you're infusing it with your work, absolute cinema. The next book is by my actual, oh my god, I worship the ground that you walk on, R.F. Kuang. Truly and seriously, this woman is the author of our time. You're reading it and it's just layers on top of layers on top of layers that you want to research for hours and hours at a library. It's easy for something like that to sound overwhelming, but she is so magical that when you're reading her writing, she doesn't make you feel dumb, she makes you feel smarter as you're learning. And that's super important. But why this book? Why this book for you as a creative? I'm so glad you asked. But Babel in particular covers one of my favorite topics of all time, which is translation and language. So it kind of is operating on the theory that all acts of translation are a betrayal, which you can break down to, I don't want to say annals, I don't, but it's the only word I can think of. You can break down to the annals of the structure of language. Okay, me, I only speak one language. What the fuck? Even me within my own English language, when I feel something here and I'm trying to communicate it with somebody else, it's never gonna be proper. It's never gonna be perfect. There is no way to, in words, tell somebody exactly how you're feeling. Which when you're a perfectionist, that actually kind of sounds like the end of the world, but then it's kind of freeing once you settle into that knowledge. Take that a step further, have somebody write or speak something out loud in one language and then have to translate the rhythm of that, the meaning of that, how words can have different variations, how words in one languages don't even exist in other languages. Having that translated for somebody else to read, it's like a completely different thing. It's a whole art form. Art, in its way, is a translation of your feeling and your thoughts into various different medias, whether you're watercoloring it, writing it down, all of that. It spends a lot of time with colonization and theft, which, hey, if you're here in America with me, we do a fuck ton of. Obviously, when you're learning about things like colonization and theft, especially in arts and history and traditions, you need to be looking into nonfiction sources as well. But fiction can also work as an incredible tool to help you empathize with it and really embed it into your brain. As artists, it is our duty to investigate and learn about how to create art responsibly. The characters in that book are insane, the magic system is insane, the writing is wild. In similar vein to that, you need to be reading nonfiction books. You have got to read real life accounts from people who live differently than you if you want to create art that is going to appeal to all. So me as a woman, if you're a man watching this, or if you're a woman, truly, I got an art book that I think you should read. It's a timeline throughout history of how women have been betrayed through art, kind of since the beginning of time. Like, you go into Venus, into now. It's also, I read this a couple years ago, so I'm gonna tread with caution when I say this. I think it did a pretty good job with being intersectional while also acknowledging that the author is white. And it's really essential if you're creating art and you're putting a woman in it to know what that means, because it carries a lot of weight. Back in the day, we were making, as I'm sure you know, statues of naked women, and it was no big thing. Now, in general, our culture cannot handle seeing a naked woman's body, even if it's not in a sexual context, without sexualizing it. So if you are portraying women in any way or representing them in any way within your art, this is a great way to inform yourself, especially if you're not a woman, and do it to the best of your ability. Next book, I'm not going to drone on too much about, because I think a lot of people had to read this book in high school. I did. Thank God. Fahrenheit 451. Oh my God. What a book. What a book. This is really important, especially right now if you're living in America. This book is really important. It deals with censorship, and it's about firefighters who burn books because books are illegal. That sounds crazy, huh? Sounds crazy, right? Why would anybody try to censor voices? So if you're an artist and you're creating, learn about censorship, because it could happen to you. Okay! My last book. If you know me, you know this book. The Master and Margarita. Oh my God. I have got to stop putting Russian authors on my list. Mikhail. Bulgakov.
Bulgakov.
This book, remember I said I felt like the Alice's Adventures in Wonderland were the epitome of creativity? This is like the adult version of that. First of all, look how beautiful this is. One day, a talking cat shows up in Moscow, and it's actually the devil. What? The author wrote this during the Soviet Union. It's filled with teachings on philosophy, and I think that my Goodreads review sums it up the best way I know how to do so. This book was like getting drunk on champagne and giggling with your best friend whilst discussing politics and the binary of good and evil, and I loved every second of it. Yeah, so talking cat that's actually Satan, naked witches flying around on broomsticks, just like very beautiful imagery. This is a great example of taking hardship and craziness and maybe otherwise boring topics, such as like, okay, not to say that the Soviet Union is boring, because I know that that's not true. Like, I know that being there probably wasn't boring, but for me, I'm like, I don't know that I really want to read about that. But I'm gonna take this moment, since I'm on YouTube and I don't know who's gonna come across this. There was a Russian film adaptation of this book that came out last year that I have no idea how to watch. Where is the US release? If you guys could comment and tell me how to watch the latest film adaptation of this book, I was gonna offer you money. I'm broke. I'm gonna give you a big fat forehead kiss. Those were my recommendations. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any books that you think all creative people should read, please let me know. I'm always looking for more. Okay. Love you. Bye.